Okay, and we're live for our take a half day edition of Comics and Coffee. Maybe we should call it like coffee or comics and a drink of water or something like that because we end up doing this in the afternoon instead of the morning. I think we've done it like twice in the morning and twice in the afternoon, but a lot of you folks overseas across the pond from the United States were like, hey Rob, like you got to do this later, man, because like it's early my time or it's really late my time or something like that. And some of you guys were like, I'm on the West Coast and I don't want to have to be up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, but it's whatever. It's all good. Either way, we'll get it sorted out properly. So, first things first, man, I am feeling good. I am having a great morning. It's nice. It's, well, not a really great morning. I woke up like half an hour ago, so it's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I hit up Sal, and Sal's like, I just woke up. And I was like, well, I mean, in that case, I guess I'm still getting out of bed and gotta get lunch. Sal's just now getting out of bed at 12:30, and it's funny to me. I'm actually talking to him on Skype. Let's send him a message. Let's call him Lazy. Lazy. I gotta put LOL so he knows I'm messing around. But anyway, a wild Rob appeared. Yes, a wild Rob has appeared. See, somebody's like, it's 3:28 here in Australia. 3:28 in the morning. My God, man, you guys are up late. Like, it amazes me how late you guys stay up to watch my stuff. It's weird. But so Lexington Comic Con is this weekend. I went yesterday, and I was gonna go again today, but I was like, you know what? Because originally I was gonna put off Comics and Coffee, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and just go to Lexington Comic Con today. But after being there yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna blow off the guys from my channel. I'm not gonna not hang out with you guys. So I was like, okay, like we're gonna go ahead and just do Comics and Coffee, and we're just not gonna worry about Lexington Comic Con because in all honesty, it wasn't all that great. But Lexington's a small town, and usually small town comic book conventions, unless you're talking about huge ones like Denver, or maybe not, maybe Denver. I don't know. I've never been to Denver, but Denver's a big town. Unless you're talking about one like New York Comic Con or San Diego, which New York is the only other one I've been to. I don't think they're going to be all that great. They're going to be decent enough, but yeah. So, let's see. Sal messaged me back. I would, but oh wow. All right. I sound like Benny. Like Benny's like whenever he's typing on the keyboard, it's hilarious. I do like cheese actually. I'm a big fan of cheese. I try not to put cheese on everything, but I'm probably gonna go get a salad from Kroger here in a little bit, and I'll probably put some cheese on that because cheese. I think cheese is one of those things like salt or pepper. Although you really can't have too much salt. You got to tone down the salt a little bit so you don't dehydrate yourself. But I think that cheese is one of those things where it goes good with everything. You can literally put cheese on anything, and it'll probably taste better because of it. One of the coolest things that I was ever introduced to was a friend of mine named Ross. And whenever the McRib came out, we would just be like, "Oh yes, McRib time!" And we would go and we would like hammer some McRibs. And so Ross is like, "All right, dude, here's what you got to do. You got to get some cold cheese. You can't have like regular, non-refrigerated cheese. You got to have cold cheese. You got to have a big, thick slice of cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese. I think he always said it was." And you got to put that on your sandwich. And for the longest time, I was like, all right, whatever, it's whatever, it doesn't really matter that much to me. And so he had some cheese, and he was like, here, dude, just put this on there and tell me what you think. And I was like, okay. I threw it on there, and I was like, this is probably the greatest invention in the history of mankind. Like cold, sharp cheddar cheese on a McRib sandwich is amazing. Oh my God. You don't like cheese pizza? Cheese or pizza? Oh my God. So what's Molecule Man up to? That is a very interesting question. That is a very interesting question. What's Molecule Man been doing? Because the last bit of significance that Molecule Man had was in 1985 with Secret Wars issue number 2, or I guess Secret Wars Part 2. And he fought the Beyonder. And people were like, oh God, wow, this is amazing. And he really hasn't been relevant since. Fast forward to 2015, and Molecule Man is very relevant. Molecule Man is extremely relevant, but yeah, I'm live. It's okay. So you know what? I'm debating on whether or not I want to like tell you guys what's going on right now in New Avengers, or whether I want to wait for a video. I think we might wait for a video. Originally, I wanted to go ahead and just like throw things in there. I wanted to go ahead and do a video now about the New Avengers. But we're going to wait until we get a little bit more information because right now it's just been like, oh my God, this reveal is huge. And we don't really know anything behind it, which I actually didn't think about that. It wasn't until I posted to Twitter and somebody was like, I mean, we don't really know a whole lot. And I was like, that's a good point. So, yeah, Rabu Malal. But it's it's funny to me. So, anyway, do I see Daredevil? I mean, I wasn't aware Daredevil was out yet. I mean, it might be, but I wasn't aware there was. I thought Daredevil didn't come out in for a little while. Hold on a second. Let me double check and make sure, but I thought Daredevil didn't come out until later on this year. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't come out until later on this year, so it's not out yet. Cool. All right, let's. So, first questions. Do you think Marvel DC killing characters is a bad idea? Instead, they could make them retire and act as a mentor or something. They could. They tried that with Miles Morales. They actually had that for a time. When Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe died, which was a huge deal, and they kept him dead. They haven't brought him. They never, never. At least to my knowledge, they haven't brought him back. They had Peter Parker from the Earth 616 continuity visit Miles Morales and basically say, "Hey man, you're doing the Lord's work here," and it's out already. Okay, it comes out in April. That's what I thought. I was like, "There's no way it's out already." Um, but questions are coming in already. We'll answer that one about Age of Ultron versus zombies because that one's gonna be kind of cool. But anyway, what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, yeah. So Peter Parker visits Miles Morales in the Ultimate Universe and says, "Hey, you're doing the Lord's work here. Like, keep on keeping on." And he's like, "Awesome." But they've never really like had Peter Parker under like play the role of a mentor. To a degree, Hank Pym did for Scott Lang, but he was more or less the same thing. Like, "Hey, like I think you did a good job here. Like, this is cool." And they just kind of kept on, keep on keeping on. But yeah, like it was one of those cool things. I don't think that'd be a terrible idea, but I think that ultimately a lot of fans would say if Peter Parker is going to still be alive in the Ultimate Universe or in the 616 continuity, then they need to keep him as Spider-Man as opposed to making somebody else. So I'm not really sure, but all right. So to the question, what storyline are you looking forward to in Secret Wars? I'm personally looking forward to Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies. Because, who wouldn't be? Yeah, who wouldn't be? I think that's going to be cool. What Marvel has said is that Age of Ultron and Marvel Zombies are going to be their own separate universes. So Marvel Zombies is going to be its own separate universe, and we know that Age of Ultron is going to be its own separate universe on Battle World. What they're going to do, and we're going to talk about some cool stuff in The Walking Dead. What they're going to do is they're going to basically like have the universes fight each other. I think that'll be kind of cool. I don't really see the point there. I mean, Ultron's a robot, so I don't really see how he could like succumb to the effects of being a zombie. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the Thor core, and we're actually going to start our lead up today, or maybe experiment with it. I'm not really sure, but you guys really seem to enjoy the "What if Thor was a Herald of Galactus" video. So we're going to do a video on what if Jane Foster was Thor. That's actually a what if story from Volume 1. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy that one. But anyway, so The Walking Dead. All right, so you guys have been like beating me to death about doing videos about something other than Marvel and DC Comics. And so we're going to experiment with The Walking Dead. But what we're going to do with The Walking Dead is we're going to do like the current events of the TV show and the comics. And so we're going to talk about the community and the comic books because I figure why talk about stuff that happened like 4 years ago? Like that doesn't really seem too relevant. So we're going to experiment with that and it's just going to be a test thing. If it doesn't get a whole lot of views, if a lot of people don't watch it, then I'm probably just not going to do it again. But at the very least, I think it'd be fun to just kind of dip a toe in something outside of Marvel and DC Comics and sort of go with that. So, hey Rob, what do you think of battle work with Spider Verse? I don't understand what you mean. Like, what do I think of the battles, or I don't understand what you mean. Talk about Thor versus Wonder Woman. Did you like Doom War storyline they did a few years ago with Black Panther? I didn't read it. I've never been the biggest fan of Doctor Doom, to be honest. I think he's a cool villain, but I think he's decent enough. Rick Grimes for the win. Yes. Okay, so you know what? Let's just talk about The Walking Dead for a second. So those of you guys who are not current with the comic, or with those of you guys who want to have this spoiled, because let's be honest, guys, when you come onto this to Comics and Coffee, you're gonna get stuff spoiled for you. It's just the way it is. Things are just gonna be spoiled. So let's talk about the community. in The Walking Dead. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Like if you guys want to see that, just say yes. Say yes if you guys want me to talk about what happens to the community in the comic books. Let's see. Oh, Battle World. Okay. The Battle World Warzone. All right, let's scroll up and look at his question again because it kind of threw me off a little bit. Down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. All right, I lost the question. Oh, okay. What do I think of Battle World with Spider Verse? I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about it. I am a little on the fence about. Wow, people are like, no. Well, there's a lot of no's and a lot of yeses. I think I didn't like Spider Verse. I really did not enjoy Spider Verse. I thought Spider Verse was sort of meh. I thought Spider Verse was sort of could have been better. I think Sal's idea for what Spider Verse should have been was a much better story than what we got. But the Spider Verse story that we got was just a byproduct of Incursion. See, here's the thing, guys. Like they told us, I mean, this is what the Marvel brass told us during their live stream. This is what Brevoort told us, that they're basically taking all their stories and they're focusing on incursions. Spider Verse was really nothing more than a way to give us an event with Spider Man, to show us all different kinds of Spider Men and Spider Women, and then to basically just like thin the herd. That was it. That was really the only basis behind it. And I saw that and I didn't like it. I was like, this is, I mean, a lot of those characters I didn't care about. I was like, you know what? It doesn't really matter to me. So I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. It was something I didn't care too much for right now. Which one do you like more right now, Convergence or Battle World? Well, in all honesty, Marvel has a lead up to Secret Wars. All their stories are revolving around Secret Wars. As best as I've been able to tell with DC, it's a little more difficult to say all their stories are leading up to this. It's not as though they're all leading up to the end of the universe, because their universe isn't necessarily ending, or I guess they're not really. I guess it's really hard. It's DC's more difficult about their lead up to Convergence than Marvel is about Secret Wars. I'll give Marvel that. Marvel's definitely doing a much better lead up to it, but in truth, it's really too early to tell. It's really too early to say which one's better, because one, they haven't really started yet, and two, they're both pretty much doing the same thing. DC's consolidating their alternate realities, their Elseworlds, and all that kind of good stuff by having them all sort of converge into one location and fight each other. Marvel's doing the same thing. They're just doing it by two different ways. DC's using Brainiac to do it, and Marvel's using using Rabu Malal to do it. So, yes, I saw the Daredevil trailer, and the Daredevil trailer looked awesome. Okay, let's see. So there were some yeses and there were some nos. It's too difficult for me to tell which one was on there. So yeah, we'll I guess we'll go ahead and pass on that for right now, and we'll do that later. Hey Rob, why did Deadpool side with the Pro Registration Act in Civil War? It was actually really funny. It was in Cable and Deadpool issue number 30, I think. And the way it picks up, the whole reason is because he just thinks he would be good at hunting people. Like he just wants to like kill people. And like he tells the president that, like he goes after West Coast Avengers, and the entire time he thinks he has an inner monologue when in reality he's actually just talking out loud. It's really funny. We covered this during Civil War, but I don't remember which one it was, which is fine. I think it's actually called Deadpool during in our Civil War playlist. But he actually goes to the president, and the president's like, you're not supposed to kill people, you're just supposed to capture them. And he was like, oh, okay. But the president's like, I'll give you a badge if you capture Cable, because that's all he wants is a badge. Like he just wants a badge and to be an official member of the pro registration side. It's kind of silly, but will I ever talk about Amalgam? Probably. I don't see why not. I thought about doing the video of what if Superman was a Herald of Galactus, which I'm not really sure if that's something that I'm going to get into or not, but it was actually kind of cool because he goes and meets the Fantastic Four and that kind of good stuff. But Harley Quinn or Deadpool? I mean, Harley Quinn, I think. I think she's got more personality than Deadpool does. Deadpool's just slapstick humor. I'm not really a huge fan of that. Let's see. Do you think Wolverine should stay dead? I honestly think it's time to put him down. Here's a problem with Wolverine. A lot of people say that because of the way Wolverine was written, and that's the problem. It's all about how Wolverine was written. He's not written very well. I think that initially the stories were kind of cool, especially in the '90s when he was getting some character development, but he really hasn't gotten a lot of character development. The problem is Marvel turned Wolverine into a broadsword. Whenever there's some major event, Wolverine comes in and just starts swathing away the criminals, just starts slashing away at everybody using his claws. And he's mindless and he doesn't think, and he's got these stupid motivations and things like that. That's the problem that Marvel had. They basically made their character irrelevant. And so when the movies came out, and Fox said, "We're not giving you the rights to the X-Men back," Marvel said, "Okay, fine, we'll kill off Wolverine." But fans had seen that coming for a long time. Fans were saying, it's time for him to go. Even Wolverine fans were like, it's time for him to go. So I think it makes sense that they decided to go ahead and get rid of him. They're going to bring him back. Wolverine was just too popular of a character. Too many people knew who he was. Even if they wanted to see him leave, he's too popular of a character to keep gone forever. And if, I guess when the new installment of, I guess of Wolverine comes out, like the Wolverine series, Wolverine 2, I think it is, when that comes out, they're basically going to bring it back. They're going to bring him back because it's going to boost sales for Marvel. And at the end of the day, regardless of all the fan service and all that kind of good stuff, Marvel's a company and Marvel exists to make money. And there's no way they're going to pass up a boost in sales for Wolverine comics by not bringing Wolverine back when the Wolverine movie comes out, or any movie that features Wolverine comes out. So I've never really gotten into Saga. I talked to Benny about it, and Benny was like, "Saga's pretty good." I know Tiffany. I think she says she's a huge fan of Saga. I think that Tiffany's probably going to be my go-to source for independent comics, which I start branching out into there. Benny was pretty much saying the same thing. Like we had this big meeting, and among the things we talked about, Benny started talking to Tiffany about indie comics. He was kind of picking her brain, and that was a good idea because Tiffany's really knowledgeable about indie comics, and so I think that going that route would be a good way to go. But let's see. Um, Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead versus Lois Lane. I know that I'll probably end up skipping over some of your questions, guys. So if you really, really want your question answered, just keep asking it, and I'll try to get it answered if I can. Will Wolverine join the Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms of joining the Avengers? Absolutely not. There's no way Fox is going to give up the rights or in any facet let Marvel have any part of that cash cow. Wolverine draws people to Fox films. If Wolverine went to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even if they were sharing the rights, even if Wolverine was appearing in Fox and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, people would start to deviate away from Fox because Marvel would do it better. They would make his character much better with every, oh god, it'd be nuts. There's no way Fox, absolutely not. Fox would never let that happen. It's a cash cow for them. Um, do you think Miss Marvel Kamala Khan is going to continue post Battle World? Honestly, I haven't really read Kamala Khan. I'm not a big fan of her. I don't know how many people feel the same way I do. I don't know how many people don't really enjoy her at all. But I would go as far as to say she's probably not as popular as Carol Danvers among older comic book fans. In terms of newer comic book fans, I know she struck a chord with a lot of people who have Middle Eastern descent. They really wanted to see some representation in comic books, and I think they got it with Kamala Khan. But I think that for the overall mainstream comic book fan base, I don't think she's that popular of a character. But again, I haven't really read, much by Kamala Khan. She just never really interested me because she wasn't a character I could identify with. For me, I was always a big fan of Carol Danvers because of her search for, I guess, for finding a place to belong, but also what she represented with regards to feminism. So, well, I mean, I don't want you to spam. I want you guys, I mean, just don't like spam your question over and over and over again. Just ask it if I don't answer it, just ask it every once in a while. Predictions of Sky on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that she will be trained adequately in S.H.I.E.L.D. I think she'll undergo the same kind of training regimen she went through in the comics with regards to S.H.I.E.L.D. She's going to learn how to use her power. She's going to learn precision. The real question here is, what do we think they're going to do with Reyna? Because Reyna, I think, is going to be our introduction to the Inhuman Royal family. I think it's somewhere along the line in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Vin Diesel, if he's going to be playing Black Bolt, is going to have a cameo. Marvel's got the money to do it, or I guess the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Disney do. They have the money to do it. They'll be like, hey, dude, look, we'll pay you like $1 million if you just show up for an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, or even he just has to like be in there, or just reference him. Just say, like have at the end of an episode, just have Raina there, and just say have like the reader, the guy that grabbed her and took her, I guess, teleported away with her. Just have him appear at Attilan and just say, I brought her to see Black Bolt and the Inhuman royal family. She's a new Inhuman and has to learn how to use her powers. And then just cut the episode at that. Like, that would be huge. Which titles of Secret Wars has you most excited? Thorcore is really the one that has me the most excited. I mean, I will admit, like Marvel Zombies and Age of Ultron, I think would be kind of cool. But a lot of the stories they're going to be rewriting, I think. So pretty much all the classics have me interested. Future Imperfect is, I don't know, kind of meh. Planet Hulk will be interesting. Years of Future Past, I'm really looking forward to. I really want to see what they do with that. If they basically culminate Days of Future Past and Days of Future Present, or if they just leave all that out and just rewrite Days of Future Past entirely. Infinity Gauntlet has me interested. I'm really cool. I'm really interested to see what they do. Thoughts on the new DC films? On the 10 new DC. What 10 new DC films are they coming out with? I wasn't aware they were coming out. I assume they're animated films because DC has it when it comes to the animated thing. They're about as good as Marvel is. Let's look that up. 10 new DC movies. Oh, 11 new DC movies in development. Let's see. Justice League Dark, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Oh, you're talking about live action films. I thought you were just talking about regular film or animated films. Maybe it's a combination of both. I'm not sure. Um, let's see. I think that I think Shazam would be cool, but we saw the animated film with him and Black Adam, so that was kind of like meh. It was whatever. But I don't know. I need to do some more reading about those characters before I decide whether or not I enjoy them. Let's see. Do I think a Planet Hulk movie will come out? Well, they have. I mean, as like I said, they have the cartoon movie. They're not going to do a Planet Hulk movie by itself. I think Marvel's come out. I think Kevin Feige or Feige, whoever, how you pronounce his last name, had come out and said that they're not going to do a standalone Planet Hulk film because one, it would just be insanely expensive, and two, because they just don't want to do anything more with the Incredible Hulk. What do you think of the Grayson comic? I'm not a big fan of the Grayson comic. I thought the Grayson comic was going to be interesting. Me and Benny actually had a really cool conversation about this. Tim Grayson or Dick Grayson as Nightwing was really cool. I really like that idea. Him going on with Grayson and becoming this kind of contract guy. I didn't dig that too much. I liked it when he was in Bloodhaven, which I guess is destroyed now. But I liked it when he was in Bloodhaven, and he was basically that version of Batman. Like I thought that was a great way for DC to keep his character. But obviously, you can't keep a character the same way forever. Otherwise, you run into the same kind of problem Marvel does. So. Yes, there will be a Punisher explained video at some point in time. And Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has the rights to Punisher. Those rights were handed back over after Punisher Warzone, which was a total catastrophe. Will Moon Knight continue? I'm actually not sure. See, here's the thing, guys. We don't know what's going to be going forward after Secret Wars. We know that some of those realities are going to be killed off. Some of those realities are going to go away, but we don't know what's going to take their place. We don't know how the Earth 616 continuity is going to continue. We don't know what all is going to take place. We don't know what characters are still going to be alive after Secret Wars is over. Secret Wars is going to be this great big melting pot of conflict, and what comes after that is going to be the Marvel Universe going forward. So we'll actually have to wait until Secret Wars is over to see what continues after that, which is going to be really good for you guys who want to get into comic books. For those of you guys who are new to comics and who are like, oh my God, there's just so much continuity and I don't know where to start, just give it time. Just watch my videos and give it time. Once Secret Wars is over, then that's when you'll basically be in a good spot to start. And anything where you're not sure about, I mean, we'll be able to explain it. If they keep the backstory of Spider-Man the same, if they say Spider-Man's continuity's been the same all this time, then we'll just do a quick rundown on the continuity of Spider-Man, and then we can just go forward with him in Secret Wars. So, who do I think the villain in Doctor Strange will be? It'll probably be Mordo. I don't know why it wouldn't be. Dormammu's just too big of a villain for a first Doctor Strange film. Let's see. Who's my favorite superhero character? The Sentry, Robert Reynolds. Let's see. Do I like Spider-Man? Not really. His superpower is complaining. So, let's see. Would you... Oh, who would I put in a Moon Knight live action film? Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy would be a great Mark Spector, but he's pretty much good in everything. Let's see. What do you think about the upcoming iZombie TV show? I actually haven't heard of it, so I don't know. But I love anything that has to do with zombies, so I'll definitely check it out. What do I think will happen in the Captain America Civil War movie? We've talked about this so much. Oh my God. To make this short, because I'm not going to go into a half-hour long diatribe like I did before, I think it's going to be a lead up to what takes place after Infinity War. So, let's see. New costumes after post convergence for DC. Thoughts, please. I think some characters are due for a costume change. A lot of them got costume changes with New 52, but a lot of people hated the new costumes, which I don't think it really matters. They're costumes. I don't understand why costumes matter that much. If you got okay, explain that to me. Like those of you guys who are sticklers for costumes, explain why the costumes matter. Like why does it matter what Superman's costume looks like? Jimmy John's versus Subway? God, Subway sounds good. I've had Jimmy John's for the last few days or so. Subway's better because Subway has hot sandwiches. Jimmy John's only has cold sandwiches. However, and this is a big however, Jimmy John's has the Italian nightclub. And I don't really know if that can be beaten. So, you always say you don't like Spider-Man, but you're excited about him being in the MCU. Shouldn't you be unhappy? Well, all right. Spider-Man in the comics to me is annoying. I think that Spider-Man in the films would be a lot more interesting. See, to me, Spider-Man in the comics has no real relevance. He's completely unimportant. He serves no real purpose. I don't understand. He's Spider-Man. I think is still here. I know people are probably gonna. If I know people are gonna hate me. I know some of you guys are gonna lambast me in the chat for this. Some of you guys are gonna be like, "Boo hiss, Rob, boo hiss." To me, Spider-Man's not relevant anymore. Spider-Man was important when he first came out because he set the status quo for teenagers. Now, I mean, you've got characters that can warp reality. You've got guys who have a level of intelligence that is far beyond where Peter Parker's even at. Peter Parker admits that they're a character, like Black Panther, for example, is way beyond Peter Parker. I mean, you've got characters who can that have a level of strength that exceeds Peter Parker by leaps and bounds, who, by all stretch of the imagination, could easily thwart Peter Parker. And then you've got Spider-Man. You got this character among all that stuff. I mean, you got Emma Frost, one of the most powerful telepaths in the history of the world. You had Jean Grey, who was almost a cosmic entity with the amount of power that she possessed. She was on par with characters like Galactus with the amount of power she possessed. And when she was the White Crown of the Phoenix, or when she was the White Crown of the Phoenix, I think. She had powers that superseded Galactus. She was nearly omnipotent with her abilities. You have Franklin Richards, you had Mad Jim Jaspers, you've got Mr. M from Mutant Town, who has reality warping powers. You've got Doctor Doom, you've got Apocalypse, you had Onslaught at one point in time, you've got Magneto, you've got all these characters, and then you've got a dude who can climb up walls and shoot webbing out of his hands with little mechanisms that he developed, and he's got a spider sense. I think that speaks for itself. Spider-Man, I guess maybe he's funny from time to time, but Spider-Man just isn't important. Like he's just completely irrelevant. I seem to favor overpowered characters. Not necessarily. I just recognize that in the realm of godlike characters, there comes a point where you have to say, let's thin out the ones who don't matter. And Spider-Man is one of those guys. Let's see. Was it a mad celestial shown wielding the Infinity Stone at the Collectors and the Guardians of the Galaxy movie? We don't know that. And here is the kicker. See, a lot of you guys who watched our video about Franklin Richards, you knew about Future Foundation. Like we talked about Future Foundation, we talked about the Mad Celestials, and we talked about all these characters who were these crazy powerful, things that were going on and so on and so forth. But we had talked about how in an alternate universe, the Mad Celestials, the Celestials of that alternate reality, had forced that universe's dissidents, or I guess inhabitants, to worship them as gods. They wielded the power of the Infinity Gems. They wielded so on and so forth, made themselves super powerful. I don't think that's a Mad Celestial. I think that's just the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of a Celestial. It could be different. It could be that that version of the Celestial was wielding the Infinity Gem. It could be that, much like the Earth 616 version of the Celestials, they judge planets to decide whether or not they should continue existing because they created life there, and they're deciding whether or not that life should continue, whether their experiments worked. And it could be that was an experiment that failed. We don't really know what the intention was. The Collector doesn't really go on to say they were drunk with power or anything like that. He just says they wielded incredible power. So. What time is it here? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. John Stewart or Hal Jordan for the Green Lantern movie? I liked John Stewart. I thought he was a solid Green Lantern, which we need to do the Green Lanterns. We need to talk about some Green Lanterns. We need to get into them. Let's see. There are loads of top build characters that are less powered than Spidey. They look awful in comparison to godlike characters. That's true, but, you know, yeah, it's... Um, Question, Rob. What is your opinion about Renew Your Vows and Spider Girl, aka Mayday Parker, aka Spider Girl? I think Renew Your Vows is a good idea. I think it was high time that they went back and just got rid of One More Day. One More Day is like this big blotch on the already blotchy history of Spider-Man. And even Straczynski was like, look, guys, like, yes, I wrote that story, but they made me do it. Like, that's pretty much what happened. He was like, look, they kind of made me write this story. I don't, don't shoot the messenger, was basically like what he was saying to all the Spider-Man fans. And so as a result, it was just this terrible catastrophe. It's high time it went away. So, egg scrambled are over easy. I like mine over medium, actually, but let's see. Marvel announced a Great Lakes Avengers movie with... okay, that question just went away. What would be your reaction? I wouldn't take it seriously. I think it was a prank. Nobody's going to take Great Lakes Avengers seriously. Even comic book fans would be like, that's ridiculous. I'm never going to go see that movie. So... Ew, one more day. Is that a gun in your hand? It is a gun that shoots vapor into my mouth so that I can get my fix of nicotine. So I guess it is, kind of, in a way, but not really. This is actually Mr. Good Vape, is the stuff that I'm using right now. So that's nice. Let's see. What's the deal with Agent Venom? Does the Venom symbiote need Flash in a way? Is it changing because of Flash? Actually, if you guys want to see a really good video on the Venom symbiote, which I think will include Agent Venom, check out Benny's channel. I think he's doing all the Venoms if he hasn't already. What did Nick Fury thou say? We talked about that during the Weekly Poll podcast. I actually dropped a bomb at the end of that episode of the podcast, which a lot of people were just like, no, you can't just say that and then just not say what, like, you can't just throw that out there. I've read a little bit of Rom the Space Knight. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan about Rom the Space Knight. Iron Fist or Shang-Chi, who would win? Danny Rand or Shang-Chi? It's like Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris. I'm not really sure. I don't think they've ever actually fought in Marvel Comics. They may have, but they're both prodigious masters of martial arts. But Iron Fist has the Iron Fist, so he'd probably end up winning. Deadpool can't die because of Thanos, right? That's the perception. And as far as I know, that still holds true. But it could be that he may very well come back to life, or may very well be killed off. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't followed Deadpool for quite some time. Let's see. Who's the best Avenger in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Definitely Iron Man. Like, he's a great... I think he's the glue that holds everything together. That, like, makes the movies fun to watch. But the other characters are really good too. Like Steve Rogers is really solid. Thor is really solid. They're great additions to the show or to the movie. But I think that Iron Man is really the one that holds the whole thing together. He makes it pretty awesome. I'm Comics Explained. Explain it. Your Comics Explained, not Comics Go Check Out That Guy. That's a funny comment. Who is the Grandmaster? I saw him in Planet Hulk and DC. All right, there's a Grandmaster in Marvel Comics, but I don't know who the Grandmaster in DC would be. Let's see. Oh God, so many questions. So many questions coming in now. All right. We need to go. We need to find some DC questions because a lot of people, like people have been asking DC questions. I feel like we've been sticking to Marvel. Let's see. Okay, what do you think is happening to Batman that is making way for the all new Batman? What do you think is happening? I want to make sure I'm reading it right. That is making way for the all new Batman. Um, I'm not really sure. I think that Batman, in terms of, it's difficult to say. You kind of have to look around at what DC's doing overall, especially like with the Batman continuity, to really, I think, understand this. One of the things they're launching is We Are Robin. Like there's going to be a whole host of teenage superheroes based on the character Robin, with Batman, Death of the Family. The Bat family is sort of in shambles at this point. God, Batman Endgame still isn't finished yet. I'm sorry, Batman Eternal still not finished yet. Batman Endgame follows Eternal. It's weird they're doing it all out of continuity. Honestly, they're gonna keep Bruce Wayne as Batman. I don't see them getting rid of him, especially with the New 52 continuity where he is Batman. But the other thing to keep in mind too is that what they're basically saying is they're saying that everything that's happened over the course of Batman's continuity between the time when he first became Batman, when Bruce Wayne first became Batman, and what we saw with Batman issue number one, that it's all been 5 years since all that's happened. And so as a result, this is basically everything picking up. Like everything, this is for those of you guys who are new to DC Comics, for those of you guys who are wanting to get into the New 52. What DC did is they came back and they said, okay, all the characters have 0 years. Like Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. Well, not really Hal Jordan. The Flash, and so on and so forth. All these characters have 0 years. From the time they first became the superheroes until the time that they actually had issue number one of their respective comics, it was only a 5 year window. And so with Batman's continuity, only 5 years had passed between the time that he had Dick Grayson as Robin, and then Jason Todd, and then Jason Todd died, and then Tim Drake, and then Dick Grayson became Nightwing, and so on and so forth. I think that they may end up going back and looking at the idea of Nightfall. I think they may be going back and looking at the idea of Final Crisis, I guess it is, whichever one where he had been lost in time. And they might be toying with the idea of killing off Batman or having Batman go away. It could be, and this would be one hell of a switch if the Joker successfully killed Batman. Like imagine that if the Joker actually killed Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne was gone forever, and then they brought somebody else back. That would be that'd be huge because they killed off Superman in the death of Superman. That would be nuts if they killed off Batman entirely. I mean, he was just gone forever. That would be, or if they killed off Bruce Wayne rather. That would be something else. I don't know though. I mean, it'd be interesting to sort of see what happens. But Batman Incorporated as well. Yeah, that's true. See that's one of the funny things that I've learned is with this YouTube thing. Like whenever I upload a video, like I uploaded the video about Tim Drake, and people were like, you missed it. It's actually Infinite or Final Crisis instead of Infinite Crisis, whatever it was. And that's a funny thing. Like people love getting in and being like, hey, like you said this wrong. Like people love correcting me, which I don't mind it because I think at this point on my channel, I think that people out there want to demonstrate they know more than I do, which is probably true. Like I know a lot about Marvel. I know a good amount about DC now that I'm reading it more. But there are people out there that'll blow me out of the water. So that's one of the big differences. It says shame DC and Morrison copped out at the end of Final Crisis. If Bishop were to fight Sebastian Shaw with equal energy gained, would it be an infinite loop of fire? It would be. Like, it would go on forever. Well, no, it wouldn't really be an infinite loop of fire because remember, the powers that Sebastian Shaw had in X-Men Days of Future Past were actually Bishop's powers. Like, Bishop has the ability to absorb energy and then to keep that energy or to shoot it back out at somebody. Well, the problem is think of it like this. When it comes to Bishop and his powers, it's like a cup. If the cup continuously has water poured into it, it'll eventually overflow. If the cup overflows, then Bishop will die. Um, if Bishop Bishop is a pain in the ass character. Bishop can store his powers, but his power is also passive, meaning that it happens without him actually having to act on it. So let's say this for example. A better idea would be if Bishop, if they were going against a foe, whereby somebody could channel energy through Bishop, you could have a character like Cyclops, who could shoot his optic beams at Bishop, and then Bishop could continually fire that energy in his own way back at something else. It would be Cyclops shooting Bishop, Bishop shooting something else. That's how Bishop's power works. He's basically like a living battery for various forms of energy. And as far as I know, he can absorb any kind of energy. There's no limit to the type of energy he can absorb. But if he's shot with too much energy at one time and he doesn't let it all off fast enough, then he'll die. And that's what we saw in the Days of Future Past film. I'm sorry, Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class, not Days of Future Past, but that's what we saw in the Days of Future Past film, was that the Sentinels overwhelmed him with too much power. He couldn't let it all out, and as a result, it ended up causing him to explode. So, has tons of minority characters. They're called mutants. Well, they used to, and then they killed them all off. And they took all their powers away. So, is a battery. Short him, and he's a goner. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it is. What's your favorite Batman actor? Probably Christian Bale. I think that most people look at that version of Batman and say it's the best. Now, that's the best version of Batman, given the actors who have played Batman. Are there characters out there who could play Batman better than Christian Bale? Yeah, definitely. There are definitely actors out there that could play a much better Batman than Christian Bale. I'm really interested to see how Ben Affleck does. I really can't wait to see what Ben Affleck does in terms of his role as Batman. Whether he'll be as good as anybody else, whether he'll be better than the other actors we've seen, is really kind of up in the air. I think that George Clooney playing the billionaire aspect of Bruce Wayne was really good. I think his Batman was terrible, but the writing was the problem, not so much George Clooney as an actor. Val Kilmer was just like meh. He was just kind of, it was emotionless acting on his part. There were some characters that were amazing, and there were some characters that were garbage. In the end, it really just kind of depends. But how do I feel about Doctor Doom being Rabu Malal? We'll talk about that when we make our video. Let's see. Have I read Crossed? No, I haven't. I actually haven't. Question: what is your opinion of Tim Drake's history getting screwed over in New 52, Teen Titans sucks? And question: why can't Batman Beyond, aka Terry McGinnis, be Batman's successor? Because Terry McGinnis being Batman's successor, well, crap. All these questions are coming in. I gotta scroll back up. I mean, as far as I know, he's Batman's successor from the future. Like he was created in the TV show and brought into the comics. He was like Harley Quinn. In terms of Tim Drake, he is. I don't think his continuity got screwed over that bad. I mean, I guess if you were a big Tim Drake fan before the New 52, but in the New 52 run, I mean, they basically condensed it down in Secret Origins and Teen Titans issue number 0. I don't think he's that bad in New 52. I mean, he's still relatively interesting. I don't think he's as relevant as he was pre-New 52, but that's because you already had Damian Wayne at that point, and so the significance of Tim Drake went away. Him playing Red Robin was a great way to keep his character going, but at the end of the day, Red Robin was no stand-in for Jason Todd as Red Hood or even Dick Grayson as Nightwing. That was one of the things that I thought about talking about in that video, but usually whenever I make my video, I just try to bring the facts. I try not to bring like a biased opinion, and so I try to simply just say, like, here's how fans reacted to this character, here's what fans thought about this character, here's what they did, and so on and so forth. I try not to keep things biased, because I think it's a very slippery slope when you walk down that path. But Ramu Malal being Doom was a New Avengers issue number 31. Does Batman smoke? Not to my knowledge. Favorite Superman actor? Nicolas Cage. Rob, do you think Marvel may find a way to incorporate the Skrulls in the MCU? As far as I know, they don't have... Oh, no, yeah, we have the rest of the Skrulls, I think. I don't know if we have the rest of the Skrulls. I don't think they will. I think that... No, I don't think they will. Do you know how fast you were scrolling? I don't know what you mean. Red Hood solo movie, could it happen? I wish it would happen. I would love to see a Jason Todd as Red Hood film. Like, I would love to see that. Let's see. I know the Injustice video game is part of the DC Comics multiverse. Do you think Justice League Unlimited animated universe is part of it as well. I'm not really sure. I don't think they've come out and said that, but if it is considered to be part of the DC multiverse, then we'll see that with Convergence. We'll see that as one of the Convergence stories. I don't think it is. I think that it's really more just the animated thing they just kind of kept out there and just say, hey, look, guys, like this is just a separate thing. But it'd be cool to see the Justice League Unlimited team joining the lineup of Convergence and actually seeing that alternate reality. I think it'd be pretty cool, but I'm not really sure. Let's see. What's my favorite Lantern Corps? The Red Lanterns. Which we need to do all the different Lantern Corps. Even if just for the sake of it. Like, I think it'd be fun to do videos about the Lantern Corps. So, the Red Lantern, like I went with a friend of mine and his son to Comic-Con yesterday, and here in Lexington, and me and his son were talking about all the Lantern Corps, and he was saying his favorite was the Lantern Corps too, and I think that'd be cool, like to go through and just like go over all the Lantern Corps. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that kind of thing. If you guys would be interested in me going over the Lantern Corps. Let's see. What other Avengers haven't we seen yet? Do you want to be in the Infinity War film? Let's see. The Avengers lineup that we have now is probably going to be the Avengers lineup going into Infinity War. But if I had to see them add a couple people to that lineup, definitely Jessica Jones, definitely Daredevil. Luke Cage would have to be a must because he has indestructible skin. Let's see. Maybe Cloak and Dagger would be kind of a cool addition. I wouldn't mind seeing some Captain Britain representation just because I think he has a very long history and I think he's pretty important. But let's see. Yeah, Benny already did the whole thing on all the Lantern Corps, so I don't know. Let's see. Already overflows us with Lantern stuff. uh, let's see. Is that an iTaste MVP? No, but I do have an MVP. This is a IPv2. Franklin Richards versus Superman. Franklin Richards. He would just phase Superman out of existence. Let's see. White Lanterns are the strongest. The Lanterns of Life. What is your favorite DCU animated movie? It's actually funny that you asked that because I went on this kick where I was watching the DCU animated films. I thought Batman, whichever one it was that had Carrie Kelly, where Batman was old, I thought that was a good one. I think that was Batman Zero Year. No, it wasn't Batman Zero Year. That was Batman. I don't remember which Batman one that was, but I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see, the one where the Joker comes back, basically. I thought, oh God, what was it? I've seen a few of them. Maybe that was Batman Brave and the Bold. I don't remember. But in any event, no, I think that, God, I'm trying to remember all the different ones that I saw. I saw the ones where they had like a combination of films in like mini movies, where you had like, let's see, Black Adam versus Shazam. God, my mind completely drew a blank. I guess of the ones that I do remember, I liked Black Adam versus Shazam the most, but nonetheless, let's see. Oh, Dark Knight Returns. There we go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I knew you DC fans would be like, "Oh my God, Rob, it's Dark Knight Returns. Come on, like get it together, man." Everybody's chiming in. Oh man, everybody's like, "It's Dark Knight Returns, man. It's Dark Knight Returns. My God." God, there's so many people who are saying Dark Knight Returns. There's hundreds of responses saying Dark Knight Returns. Let's see. So, all right. So here's my question for you guys. What's your favorite storyline from DC Comics? That's what I want to know. Like, what's your favorite thing? If you could have 3 superpowers, what will they be? Oh God, that's a good question. Well, they couldn't be overt superpowers because I wouldn't want anybody to know that I had them. I also wouldn't want to make my life a burden. So I would say my first superpower would be telepathy with perfect control. That way I could do pretty much anything I wanted to. I could move a glass towards me, or I could do any number of things. The second one, I wouldn't want telepathy because telepathy would just be a hassle. Or no, okay. Let's say telepathy with perfect control. So I could, hear only what I wanted to hear from people. Like I could, well, I guess I could listen to their minds, but I could immediately tune them out if they started saying something I didn't like. And I guess the third one would be the ability to manipulate, I guess, luck in my favor so that I could like win the lottery and stuff like that. That'd be cool. See, Batman Zero Year, Death of the Family, Batman Year One, The Killing Joke, Court of Owls, Hush. Hush is a good one. Let's see. When Wally West has his kids. The Killing Joke. See, I wouldn't want a healing factor because I wouldn't want to live forever. Emerald Twilight, Lobo Paramilitary Christmas, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Nightfall, Kingdom Come. So you guys have some pretty cool favorites in the DC continuity. Death in the Family. So many things. So okay, so of the Marvel stories, then, which ones are your favorite stories from Marvel Comics? We may have asked that before, but I don't remember what the answers were. So give me the rundown of your favorite stories of Marvel Comics. Could you count Thor being able to move his hammer with a simple hand command, a telepathy power? Oh, you mean like when he when he thinks, like when he moves his hand just by virtue of just being like a person and being able to move his hand, that because his mind is doing that, that it's I guess I don't know. I don't understand what you mean. I'm a little confused by your question. um let's see. The one where the superhero from DC. All right, should Terry Crews play Jon Stewart in the upcoming DCU movies? No, I think that that Idris Elba would be a great Jon Stewart for the DC films. I think he'd probably be the best one. The Sentry origin. Oh God, Sentry's origin is so good. It's hands down one of the best stories ever. Kingdom Come is amazing, but it is an Elseworld, so it's hard to count. Civil War, so many responses for Civil War. I knew people were probably there going to be a lot of fans for Civil War, Infinity Wars, Siege, The Children's Crusade, Death of the Stacy, Spider Verse, Civil War, Infinity Gauntlet's a good one. Death of Wolverine, Astonishing X-Men, Joss Whedon's entire run. What do I think of the fan films of Harley Quinn and Dick Grayson? I actually haven't seen those. Send me a message on Twitter with the links to those so I can check those out. Kingdom Come, Zero Tolerance was a good one. That was the whole thing with, oh God, man, you're going old school. That was a whole thing with Bastion, I think. God, that was an old one. I mean, God, that was an old one, if I remember correctly. That's the one where Bastion, who was the Nimrod. You want to talk about a cool character in Marvel Comics. Nimrod was the shiznit. Like, he was awesome back in the day. I miss Nimrod. He was a great character. I always wanted to do a video about Nimrod. We may do a video about him one day. He was a great character. Who do I think Lady Thor is? I think Lady Thor is Jane Foster. What's going on, Liben? I think that's how you pronounce it. I think I'm the only one here that loved Fear Itself. I wasn't a big fan of Fear Itself. War of Kings was a really, really good one. Jonathan Hickman's Future Foundation. Hey, Rob, what do you think of the new Batman Beyond that's coming out? I think... Oops, let's scroll up a little bit. I think it's going to be great. What do you think about the writers and the artists who are on it? If so, please let me know. I don't know a whole lot about the writers and the artists who are doing it. I know they're changing things up, but I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Batman Beyond post-Convergence. Like, I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do with Terry McGinnis. Do I think the MCU will include the Iron Spider? Yeah, definitely. I think it'll include the Iron Spider outfit. I mean, it would have to. I mean, it'd be a great way to differentiate between Spider-Man in the Sony universe and Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, you cannot have the Incredible Hulk picture. Let's see. What's your opinion of Deadpool's Secret Wars? I'm going to read it, and we'll do a video about it. Jane Foster is worthy. Yep, we're going to talk about that in our video today. Let's see. Never going to stop backing Tareen for Lady Thor until I am proven wrong. Kyle Rayner or Jon Stewart for a movie? Jon Stewart, definitely. He needs his own movie. Do you have more questions for us? I like asking you guys questions. I think. See, here's the issue that I have with a lot of Q&As. A lot of Q&As that exist out there. It's just like fans asking their favorite YouTubers questions. The YouTubers never ask questions in return. So let's think of some more questions for you guys, because I like asking you guys questions. I like asking you guys because I know you guys are like me. Like, as comic book fans, you guys love talking, like explaining comic books to people. I know you guys love that. Like, oh my God, someone who doesn't know anything about this character, let's explain it to them. I know you guys are all about that kind of thing. So, okay. This was addressed in the latest issue of Thor. You are 100% right. Yes, Jane Foster does have cancer. We're going to address that in our video. Because just because you guys are saying that Jane Foster in the Earth 616 universe has cancer doesn't mean that Jane Foster still can't be Thor. So, I am worth the power of Thor. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So questions for you guys. We do love it, and we love you. Okay. For those of you guys who are keeping track, what's going on, Brent? For those of you guys who are keeping track, we're gonna do Damian Wayne Explain. Oh my God, I gotta ask this damn question. For those of you guys who are keeping track of what's been revealed about Raboom Alal's identity, and for those of you guys who haven't been keeping track, you're gonna have it spoiled for you. What do you guys think about Raboom Alal being Doctor Doom? About that reveal? Let me know what you guys think about that. Do I play HeroClix? Actually, a friend of mine, Ross, a really good friend that I've known for about 10 years, plays HeroClix. And he's been dying to get me to play. And I keep telling him, when you guys get together and you guys play HeroClix, let me know. And he's like, well, we kind of get together whenever we get a chance. So, bring the intro back? Nope, the intro's not coming back. Justice League Tower of Babel. That was a good one. I did this to you. They should make a movie about that. Like, they should have Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, and they should make a movie about Tower of Babel. The Joker New 52 Explained. We'll get into that. We'll get into the Joker. We need to do a video explaining the Joker, and then we're going to get into the Joker with regards to the New 52 going into the Batman Endgame and things like that. See, here's the problem. Batman Eternal's not finished. And Batman Eternal is going to continue on, and then it's going to take a break during Convergence, and then it's going to come back next year, I think. And so, like, Batman Endgame is the end of all that. So basically, they gave us the ending before the story was completed. And so it's going to be kind of a hassle. So it's going to be difficult to do. But we'll definitely do the Joker's New 52 story. Let's see. People were pretty psyched about it. Is Doctor Doom still important these days? Yes, Doctor Doom is actually incredibly important now. He is probably one of the most important characters, probably the most important character in the entire Marvel Universe right now. So, let's see. What's your current pool list? The ongoing Batman Eternal, New Avengers, because that's where Hickman's story for leading up to Secret Wars is going to conclude in. Oh God, Star Wars, Princess Leia when that comes out, and Darth Vader. So that's my current pull list. Not the biggest pull list in the world, but I'm really picky about the comics that I do, that I actually like, set up as a pull list for me to constantly go into. Everything else I have, I usually just go to the store, peruse around for a little bit, buy it, and then leave. So, it wouldn't be Secret Wars without an OP Doctor Doom. That is 100% true. Rob, how do you feel about Endgame saying Joker's immortal? We actually had a big discussion about the immortality of Joker in the podcast. I think that what they're saying here isn't necessarily so much that the Joker is immortal, but that the Joker is the inherent representation of what evil is. That the Joker just can't be stopped. And that Batman is the opposite, that Joker's Goliath and Batman is David, more or less. Not a big fan of that. I was a big fan of the fact that the Joker was just a man who had a bad day. Like, I loved that element. I mean, that was the theme of The Killing Joke, just one bad day. And I think that's what made him such a loved character, was because he was a guy who had one bad day, and as a result, he lost his mind entirely. I think that made him human. I think that made him someone who could be defeated. But the idea to me was not the defeat of the Joker. I didn't care anything about the Joker being defeated. It was totally irrelevant to me. What I loved so much about the story was just the back and forth between the two. Was the fact that no matter what happened, no matter what Batman did, no matter what lengths he went to, there was nothing he could do to fix the Joker. The Penguin went to a relatively, I guess, not as criminal life as everybody else for a little while. And of course, he had that lounge or whatever it was, and then he went back to being a criminal again. Two-Face was reformed for a time. I mean, you had various criminals from Batman's rogues gallery who had tried to redeem themselves, but the Joker never did that. The Joker was just so far gone from sanity, there was nothing you could do to fix it. And one of the coolest things was actually stated in... Oh my God, what was it? I can't remember what story it was. Oh, it was like Batman number 3 or number 4 from way back in the back in the Golden Age, where he said the Joker's insane schemes don't make sense to anybody but himself, and they actually use the same phrase in Batman the Animated Series. But that right there, I think, symbolizes the Joker. The Joker, only the Joker understands why he does what he does, and even then, the Joker doesn't understand it. He doesn't know it. And so, this is why we need to do a video about the Joker, guys, so we can get into how crazy the Joker is. Like, it's such a cool concept. The Joker is, I think, a lot of people will debate this. A lot of people will argue about this from now until the end of time. But I think that the Joker is a representation of what it means to just give in to that dark side of yourself, because I think everybody has that. I think everybody has that side of themselves where sometimes they just want to let go. They just want to let go of it all. They just want to say the hell with it. They just want to say they don't care about rules. They don't care about laws or any of that stuff. And they just want to go out and they just want to do their own thing. The Joker is our ability to read about a character who can just give in to his insanity. It's our escape as readers. It's our ability to read about a guy who just doesn't care. It's our ability to read about a guy who can just do whatever he wants when he wants, and all he's ever going to get is some interim period in Arkham Asylum, and then eventually escape and go about doing it again. So, yeah, we're definitely going to do a video about the Joker. Let's see. I heard The Rock is playing Black Adam. How do you feel about that? I'm pretty excited about... Oh my God, a wrestling question. All right, favorite WWE wrestler. Are we talking about now or in the history of wrestling? Because if we're talking about in the history of wrestling, then... Oh my God. If we're talking about in the history of wrestling, then I would say my favorite character of all time was Bill Goldberg. Like, Bill Goldberg was amazing. He captivated... I mean, he was completely undefeated. Of course, it was all staged, but he was completely undefeated. But if we're talking about the current run of wrestling, then I have no idea. WrestleMania 30 I went to, and that was really the last time I kept up with wrestling anymore. So, comic character philosophy explained. Where's your coffee? My coffee has been replaced with some water in a Jimmy John's cup. WWE is fake, but it's still pretty badass. Let's see. What do I think Doctor Doom's plan with the Molecule Man is? That is what we don't know. That's the big confusion a lot of people have. Supposedly, well, we'll get into this in our video, but I think he's basically going to do his best to basically remake reality and then put himself at the peak of this new universe. Because remember, every single scheme that Doctor Doom has been in has always been to gain power. That's always what Doctor Doom does. What's going on, Michael Garcia? That's always the role of Doctor Doom, is to gain as much power as he possibly can. Oh my God, all these wrestling comments. Stone Cold Steve Austin explained. NWO forever. Oh yeah. NWO was the tits. Let me tell you guys something. I don't know how many of you guys are my age, or how many of you guys are 30, or how many of you guys were watching wrestling in the 1990s, but let me tell you guys something. When they had that episode of Monday Nitro, I think it was, where Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came out, that was unbelievable. People were just like, oh my God, like it blew people away. And then when you had Bash at the Beach 1996, and Hogan came out, and he was the third man for the NWO, I have never in my entire wrestling watching career, I guess, ever seen an instance where where fans reacted to something like that, where they threw trash into the ring, where they turned against Hogan. And I remember watching this interview not too long after, I think it was the Monday Night Wars, actually, the documentary, where Hogan was talking about that and Eric Bischoff were talking about that. And Hogan said that he called Eric Bischoff and said, "We've got something." Like, we've got something amazing here. And they took it and ran with it. And then Eric Bischoff fucked it all up. So, it's whatever. Doom is a boss. Doom is always pulling the strings. I've never read Gru. I don't know what Gru is. Let's see. Question: what is your opinion of Ultimate Doctor Doom and the Ultimate Marvel Universe ending this year? It's time for the Ultimate Universe to come to an end. I never liked the Ultimate Universe. Kevin Nash is hype. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. I don't really want to watch some lightweight boxers. If I'm going to watch a boxing match, I'm going to watch a heavyweight world title boxing match. Which I miss that. We don't really get see, boxing isn't like it used to be. Like, I think the last great boxing match was Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson, where he bit his ear off. That was the last great boxing match. John Cena versus Haggis. Show me potato salad. I don't know if any of you guys follow the potato salad subreddit, but over at reddit.com, there's a subreddit called Potato Salad that's dedicated to John Cena. And all they do is just like they're like, hey guys, like here's an awesome picture of potato salad, and it's it'll just be pictures of John Cena. It's hilarious. They actually had this video where I don't know if you guys watched Family Guy, but there was the post-apocalypse one where they came across those homeless guys, and they were like, all right, like, you take 3 things on a picnic, like, which things do you take? And Lois, or I think the whole family agreed, like, potato salad. And so the homeless guy was like, show me potato salad. And then, like, the camera panned over, and John Cena was standing there, and it played his intro music. It was pretty awesome. All right, so do a video explaining why Batman doesn't kill Joker. That would go into our Joker video. That'd be part of that video. What do you think of the Batman bunny suit? I'm not going to talk about that. Let's see. Thor versus Shazam. That would be a good one. That would be an interesting one. I would love to see that. I think that'd be a cool video to see, or a cool a fight to see. I think Shazam, he's more magic oriented than Thor is. Thor just has super strength and he has his hammer, which is enchanted with magic, but Thor himself isn't necessarily magical. So I think it'd be a good thing. I think that ultimately Thor would be able to defeat Shazam entirely. I think the real question here would be, could Shazam wield Thor's hammer? If he was worthy of wielding Thor's hammer, which between a conflict in the two of them, I doubt he would be, but if he was worthy of wielding Thor's hammer, then I would say Shazam could take it. If not, then it'll probably go in Thor's favor. What do I think of Bat Cow, Rob? Bat Cow. Bat Cow, oh my god. It was funny. Me and again, going back to Comic-Con yesterday, me and a friend of mine, when I was talking to his son, we were talking about Bat Cow, and I asked him, I was like, "What is your love for Bat Cow?" And he was like, "Bat Cow is awesome." He actually wanted me to do a video about all the animal sidekicks, which I think Benny did that actually. Now that I think about it, but nonetheless, Bat Cow was funny to me. It was funny seeing like a cow run in front of a car and like save the car. And it was funny seeing Tim Drake, I think it was, like, we're not going to let this cow die. Like, we're going to save this cow, and this cow is going to be called Bat Cow. And if I were Bruce Wayne, I would have been like, no, dude, like we're having steak tonight. I don't know, but I think Bat Cow was a hilarious and a great way to break the monotony of some of the Batman comics. Thoughts if Stellos Contos was in the MCU? I have no idea who that is, actually. Batcow versus Punisher? Batcow, definitely. The Punisher wouldn't know what to do. He would just be like, oh my god, like, a cow. And then by that time, Batcow would have just like ran him over and then stomped on him, and then he would have killed him. So Shazam is probably worthy since he's innocent as a kid. Yeah, but innocence doesn't immediately mean that you have the ability to wield Thor's hammer. Let's see. Hulk beats Doomsday? Maybe. Let's see. Bat steak. Yep. Bat T-bone. Bat ribeye. Let's see. Do I watch Variant Comics? Yeah, Eris has awesome videos. For those of you guys who don't know about Eris, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but for those of you guys who don't know about Eris, he is Variant Comics. Eris is he reached the #1 spot in the top 10 list for Watch Mojo's top 10 comic book YouTube channels, and he was doing this long before we were. So Eris is pretty fantastic at what he does. So definitely check him out. It's just Variant Comics on YouTube. Let's see. Do I even like Miles Morales? Oh yeah, Miles Morales is an incredible character. I like how gritty and realistic his story is. That's the thing I love about his character. Let's see. Let's. What's that thing you smoke on every podcast? This is my e-cigarette. It helps keep me sane. All right, guys. Since I have a video that I need to finish working on, and I need to have it uploaded by the time, hopefully around 6:30 or so, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this one to an end. And yeah, so I love talking with you guys. Comics and Coffee. Hopefully next week Sal will be with us. I invited him, and he was like, "Well, I just woke up." So, I think he said he wanted to come on next week. So hopefully we'll see him then. But yeah, we might. I think we'll keep this as like a 12 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing. That way, it'll give me time to wake up and to sort of get it together, and it'll give you guys on the East Coast time to wake up and kind of get it together, and we can go from there. So, with that being said, I will catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, by the way, whenever I do my videos, and we're gonna bring this video to an end, and I will catch you guys later. Peace. Like I actually do that. Like I actually make the peace sign in my videos. So, anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.